Good morning. Welcome whenever you're here. If you're here with me live, if you're here on the replay, really nice to have you here in this space with me. I'm Dr. Z, if we haven't met, internal medicine physician, and I worked at a large academic medical practice for quite a few years, and now I am full-time on Simple Fasting, which is this channel that you have made it to. So nice to have you here. And then it's my fasting-based medical practice in Fitchburg, Wisconsin. If you're in Wisconsin or if you want to come meet in person. I got to tell you, I did, after I left the university, I did a year of telemedicine only. And I love telemedicine in certain ways, you know. It lets people connect over great distance, and it's great. And after my medical practice at the university was extremely large, I had what I came to feel was an obscene number of patients. And it was good to take a break from seeing people in person. Say, well, just chat here. I stay home. There's a certain energy to meeting in person. And if we could capture something like that, I want to try to capture something like that in the type of experience that we're having here, fasting space, this session. One of the things that is really, that I love the most about my current practice, I give an hour to everybody. So it's like nothing is rushed, you know? Nothing is rushed. Plenty of space to really sink into things. That's what I love about our sessions here. Also, nothing rushed. And really feeling that way today. So weight loss complexity, this is where I landed. I spent yesterday, I went through like 3 versions of things that I wanted to talk about today. And I didn't have a lot of energy with them. They just weren't sitting. And I was thinking, oh, this is so complex. And then I started really liking that thought. Simple fasting itself, simple is right in the words, simple. And so many times we have something complex, we have complex issues, complex situations, difficulty. Life, we say life is complicated, and it is. So many times we try to come up with a complex solution to it, you know. It's like, oh, there's so much complexity. We got to do this and we got to do so many things. And sometimes that's true, and it is. But sometimes the answer to a complex problem is actually just very simple. Simplicity is the type of thing that can cut through a complex situation. Like a knife, like a surgical scalpel, get right to the heart of the issue. And this is the big thing as I was thinking about it. Simple fasting. Fasting itself is like the ultimate simplicity, at least in a dietary space, because it's nothing. Hard to get, simpler than nothing when we look at it. And in the world, the landscape that we have, the complexity, society, the conflict, the conflicting information, the conflicting points of view, one of the most frustrating things, especially in a medical space. Conflicting points of view, certain things good about it, always good. Get a second opinion, get multiple points of view, okay? But that can also leave us in a difficult place where we're like, oh, one person is saying something and one person is saying something. So much complexity. The word of the day, simple. How can we take complex things, boil them down a bit? Give things some space. That's what I want to do today. I put in the title here, AMA, Ask Me Anything. I put fasting and life. I was thinking as I was going through, I was like, oh, I do so much talking and I have so much I want to say. I have like 7 different talks that I'm bringing, that I'm working on, that we're going to be going through, that I'm really excited to bring. But I want to bring them at the right time when I've really put the right thought into them. And I really want these sessions to be open. And I want everybody that is here to feel like, hey, ask any question. I want this to be your show. I want to be the host for your show. And where do you want it to go? And do you have questions or even an encouraging word? One of the sessions that I have planning or just on my list of things to think about is titled Share the Love, Share the Struggle, right? So it's like, do people have points of view that they want to share that aren't just questions, Feel free. Bring an encouraging word. Bring an insight. Bring just a reflection or a thought. I would love it to hear people sharing. If something is on your mind or your heart, to share into a space that could be helpful for people. I want to give a platform and a space for you to be able to do that. And then on the other side of it, the struggle, the difficulty, I'm really trying to create a vibe and an atmosphere and a space for people that is, nothing sugar-coated. I loved that when we were talking about it the other day. It's like, okay, we're trying to get the sugar out, processed food going out. Great, analogy to connect it in. Not sugar-coating the reality of situations that we're in, because, life can be messy and difficult, and I try never to tell anybody, okay, fasting is easy. I say simple but not easy, because it is simple from the standpoint of, okay, this is nothing, and there's not really a lot of instructions, for the basic part of it, but then the instructions are on the mindset. Maybe I take a moment and even reflect it. Is the mindset simple? I want it to be. Maybe that just is the line. Simple but not necessarily easy when we are in a world that is full of distractions. Things that are vying for our attention. We call it the attention economy. It's like, well. How do we move forward in the healthiest way in a space like that? I think it takes something very simple, honestly, to do it, because things that are complex, we have limited mental bandwidth, so many things. It's we need one thing, I think, or a couple things that we can just hang on to. I like describing fasting that way, something to hang on to, because I don't know what life feels like for you, but for me, a lot of times it feels like a lot of pressure, a lot of obligations, a lot of competing interests, a lot of things that we are trying to balance. And so to try to hang on to something feels like the thing I want to do sometimes. Do you have that? Oh, I just need to hang on. Have you been on a boat or something? If it's rocking, is I just want to hang on to something that the storm is happening. Or it's have you been on a plane with a lot of turbulence? Have you ever had to grab, the side? It's if things aren't so stable in certain elements in our life, what do we hang on to? And it's if we're heading toward weight loss as a goal, if we're trying to optimize metabolic health, fasting to me is really the core anchor, and it could be different for different people. I like to try to give a broad perspective here. I talk about fasting on the channel, obviously, is the big deal. But it's just one element of a toolkit. I put the framing on it because I feel like our society, it's just, except for small little places on the internet, right? You can find YouTube channels where there's lots of people have come in, and so there you can see pockets of people, right? There's Reddit threads on fasting where lots of people come, okay? But in the broad sweep of society, fasting is nowhere, And when we look at the big picture, metabolic health, I feel like, all right, fasting, let's spend some time and just dial in on this tool. It's a sort of tool that can support and make the process easier. I liked that thinking yesterday. We're saying, I have personally found in my life, let me know your experiences. Everybody has a different experience. It's just fine. I have found in my life, as I have practiced fasting over many years, that it's the sort of thing that you can develop a skill with and a familiarity with, and that you can come to understand it and practice it on a deeper level, where at first a practice can feel daunting or intimidating, and then it can come to feel more normal and comfortable. And like I said on my hiking and fasting vacation that I recently just did, check out this session from earlier this week. If you didn't see it, I shared pictures of all these beautiful mountains that I climbed with my family in North Carolina. Felt so good to be in a fasting space, to just feel the energy flowing out of the body. Fasting made those days better, It was not a struggle. It was not hard for me to do in that space. Sometimes I'm not going to sit here and say it's always easy for me. I can dial in on any fasting space I ever want, anytime I want. It's not like that. There are days when things flow and times when things don't. And I just want to tell people this is a normal experience. It's normal. But then it's okay, kind of ride the waves of the body that way. And then the more you have gone through cycles, you say, oh, I kind of feel where the body is at. And it's like, what does my body need, Had yesterday was saying man, fasting giving us a space to really dive in away and listen to the body, And I think that this is really true. This is a practice, fasting space that can help us listen to the body in a really deep and profound way. Are you in a fasting space now, and how do you feel about it? I'll just give you a moment here. Let's just try to take my own advice like we do for the session. Let's take a moment and just listen. I'm going to do it right now. What are you feeling in the body? Whether you're fasting or not, it's okay. You take a time to do it now. If you had a meal recently, how does that feel too? I'm big on mindfulness and eating. We could do a whole talk, mindfulness and eating. Bringing it. How about mindfulness after eating, and just thinking about how is this energy becoming like a part of me, And then if we're in a fasting space, bringing mindfulness to it, feeling into the body. How is the energy flowing? How is the body doing? To me, just in a couple moments right now, feeling into it, the first thing it was saying is oh, take a breath. Please, I could feel a little voice was saying, oh, hey, that was good. Take a breath, take a space, take a pause. I like that we get to that space here. I look at my little timer. I start, a timer runs when I turn on the YouTube. And so we're 15 minutes in already. It's we get a flow, we're just exploring a thought, having a space. my experience getting into some sort of meditation, getting into some sort of thoughtful, reflective space where we can start to process some things, difficulty in life, try to create a vision even just for the day. Where are we going? What is happening here in this space? And we get to that space. Usually you try to open up a space like that, doesn't it take 10, 15 minutes? Get through a space where we can start to sink into a deeper level, something more profound, where we say, I want to really do some work here, some emotional work in the emotional body, right? As we start to dive in, mind-body connection, where we are. Things very complex, right? We say we're trying, this is like the arrow we set. Complexity we experience in life. Complexity to lose weight. Society will tell us this, right? You got to do many, many things. Fasting giving us a model, something simpler. Look, we're doing fasting right now. Even if you just ate, look, but now in this space we're not eating, okay? Fasting, we could be eating, we're not doing it, we're voluntarily refraining from it. Maybe you got a beautiful cup of coffee or a tea or some water. Maybe you would like to have it in a simple fasting mug. Shoot me an email, I send you one in the mail. Something tangible that you can hold and say, if we're trying to hold on to fasting, it's nothing. How do we do it? Well, at least this thing says fasting on it. We can hold it. It's helping to center our mindset in a way where something that is not very tangible can start to feel a little bit more tangible for us. And see, here's a very simple thing. Not expensive, not flashy, but the type of thing that can be grounding. You know that story? Who is it? Is it a Greek one of Icarus? The guy flew a little too close to the sun, right? Wasn't grounded, right? Had immense power. He's like a god or something, or the gods gave him powers or something, but he flew a little too high. And didn't he burn himself up in the sun or something? Wasn't grounded. And so actually, maybe the moral of some of that story, find a centering space, something simple, something a lot better. Say, all the complexity, think of all the exercise contraptions that are sold to people. I think of this. Think of all the diet pills and supplements and everybody saying, I'm on a health space, right? So I think, I hit keywords in some algorithm. So my feed of suggested things and the ads that pop up whenever I'm doing anything, I watch something on YouTube. I try to even watch my own thing sometime. How does it do? Then an ad pops up. I don't get paid for this. There's always somebody is like trying to sell me something to lose weight, and I just want to talk with them. I'm like, I don't actually need your thing, I don't know that anybody needs your thing. That's what I think. Like what people need is nothing, mostly. That's the simple place that I've come to. That we already possess everything that we really need within inside of us. And maybe that's true most of the time. Obviously, we have to eat. If I was hosting a dialogue with someone and they were a thoughtful nutritionist who said, really the core foundation is not fasting, Dr. Z. It's healthy eating. I would not argue with them. Okay, I'd say that's awesome because that's true too. It's true. We are what we eat, but the other side of it is we are what we don't eat too. As a balance. I would say it's a balance. We would have that person from their point of view, and me presenting this perspective that that fasting is the other side of the same coin. Everything we need healthy amounts of food coming in, the highest quality, the most nutritious, the most nutrients and minerals and every wonderful thing. And I said Once I was having a discussion like this with a nutritionist, and they were really upset. They're like, I have, on my study, one of the talks I want to give, a talk about my paper, which you can find a video I've done. I got to do more. But we're going through my protocol, and they're like, yeah, it's okay. But your patients in this trial are not getting enough selenium. That was their big hang up. And I was like, okay, okay. I like selenium. Selenium good is helpful, even thyroid function. Okay, I get it. We need selenium. Okay, trace minerals. I want everybody to get their trace minerals. But I'm like, look what is happening on this study, okay? People were eating 6 times a day because every doctor they ever saw said when you have terrible type 2 diabetes, you have to keep your blood sugar stable, so you have to keep eating all the time. And then we put them on a protocol where we said, give some space. Just give some space. Here's what I was thinking this morning when I woke up about this exact thing. Think about diabetes. You don't have to have diabetes, but just as a model, idea of metabolism. Diabetes, you understand the blood sugar is going too high. Type 2 diabetes, we're burning out our ability of insulin to get that sugar out of the blood. Insulin levels high, it's trying to work, but it's like the cells are resistant to it. It's like we've had too much of this, too much energy. Cells, this is not the way people usually think of it, but I think it is really philosophically as much as scientifically what's happening. Cells are like, we just do not need this anymore. That's the truth. Cells trying to protect themselves. We got too much energy. We just need a break. We need space. Here, give us some space. It's like we're trying to block the insulin. We're like, send this energy somewhere else, It's like somebody else might need it, but I don't, right? And then every cell is saying that, right? Can you just feel the cells in the body saying, give us some space here. Okay, so have you heard the phrase or the saying, someone has diet-controlled diabetes or lifestyle-controlled diabetes, and you say, okay, that was working for a while, but then it failed. We say, and I hate that word, and that is not exactly true or a constructive way to think about it, but this is the way it is often phrased. It's like, oh, they had lifestyle control, diet control, but that failed, and now we're in like a different disease. And we say it's a different disease. Now we have a medication-dependent process. And I'm very, very happy about all medicines for type 2 diabetes. We need them and more of them, and they very much help people. So I'm not opposed to medicines. But what I am supportive of more is processes to help as few people as possible to need as few things, need the medications, that as many people as possible need as few things as possible. There'd be the way to say it. A better way to say it, in my view, is that the previous structure of a lifestyle process was not sufficient to meet the body's needs. It's just how it is. It wasn't. That doesn't mean that it couldn't be. And what happens so much in our modern moment, this happens in diabetes, it happens in so many other areas, is that we end up conforming our lifestyle to fit the medication in the medical system instead of using these tools to put the dietary lifestyle practices first and then conform the medications as a tool to it. That's just the priority switch that I think is so massively important. And then this is what we showed in the study. That was a roundabout way to get to the study. Medications for type 2 diabetes often a one-way path, and it's like that with many things in medicine. A one-way path for blood pressure and acid reflux and even depression and anxiety now, and so many things. Is like we get on a medicine, it's like a forever thing. Very inflexible, and then everything can get conformed to it. Fasting, a big part of the way out of that, in my experience. You want to try to untangle something like that, unravel it. That's what I say in Dr. Z Method. I got that down there. Anybody come hang out with me in Dr. Z Method, where I do streams is kind of like this, except on a Zoom call, basically, so we can actually interact in a private way, face-to-face, get to know each other, and invite anybody. Stop in there. Not expensive. You can just have a month and come in and check it out and watch my whole course, and no commitments. There's no pressure. The whole idea of everything. Fasting space, no pressure from my point of view. A lot of perspectives on the internet, put a lot of pressure onto fasting, make it very rigid and dogmatic, and my perspective is that it is almost by definition openness. It is nothing, and the idea that we take that into some space of pressure, I say, no. The whole point of this is to take the pressure off. Take the pressure off the whole situation. So I was just saying to that nutritionist, I was like, look what is happening, okay? We're taking some pressure off here. This is what we don't have protocols in the system for. I have protocols. I've shared the protocols. I've published them in medical literature. Protocol. Stop conforming the person to the medication. Start conforming the medication to a new lifestyle. And then the big conforming in diabetes, like we were saying, is you just got to get the medicine out of the way. Fasting more powerful than any diabetes medicine. That's true. It is more powerful in most circumstances than insulin. Absolutely, supplemental insulin. And I think our study really demonstrated that. I'm going to give a talk, hopefully in the next couple weeks, on the study. Really get into detail of it. But I've been saying that for a couple months, so we'll see if I actually do it one of these days. The other thing that I would say, again, to our historical, metaphorical nutritionist who is dialed in on the selenium, I don't have in my mind right now, is selenium fat soluble or not? But I got to tell you, so many nutrients are, and when we are losing weight, there are nutrients stored in our body that are released to power this. Vitamin D especially, I'm thinking of, This is the incredible physiology that happens in the body. We store up vitamin D during the summer. So much of it gets stored into the body fat, and then in the dark of the winter, as it's cold and food is scarce, you think of our ancestors, and we're releasing that energy. There's vitamin D coming out with it, That's why, but we can draw down that resource, and that's why we'll see the vitamin D level, if you track it through a dark winter, okay, it's just we're using the resource, but it's still there. See, I think that's amazing. Amazing physiology. So a lot of the fasting space, or a lot of the studies that have looked at nutrition, have not studied it. They were not done in people who are fasting, and there's a lot of physiology that is untapped in the body to appreciate. So I say, well, does a little selenium eat a Brazil nut? Okay, that's what that is actually one of the places I came to. I was like, can I give a Brazil nut to the patient in their eating window, and then they'll get their beautiful selenium? And everybody was happy. And people lost a lot of weight, and their blood pressure went down, and their blood sugar went down, and they got off a lot of medications. And this is what I continue to see as I work on refining and building this protocol. Bring the benefits of fasting space into life. Conform our medical situation into the lifestyle instead of bending our lifestyle into this current medication-focused framework. It's a better way to go about it. It makes medication use better. It's like, not that we don't need it. It's just it can be very much more targeted only when we absolutely need it for a very specific sort of things. This is how we get the most value out of it. This is how we get the most benefit for the least amount of risk. Everything I want for risk. This is what I want to talk to Runaway Train about from yesterday. Is like, first do no harm in the big picture means we have to be very judicious in our use of medications and interventions and things. We want to do as few things to people as necessary. This is why I embrace minimalism as a core concept in medicine. I did that talk the other day. Minimalism in medicine. Fasting to me is minimalism in the body. So, simplicity, that's this session. I try to focus on. So many things very complex. How do we simplify? Let's simplify our dietary practice. Not so many periods of eating all the time. Bring them, how about 2 times? 2 is a pretty good number, right? 2 better than 6 if you're trying to lose weight. That's what I say. Get in a groove with it. Very simple. We have a nice, beautiful meal, and then we do that again. What a nice groove that we can get in with that. And it can go up or down based on your preference, based on what works for you. No rules, just openness. No rules, just openness. That is fasting, and that is life in my view. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I hope you have a truly beautiful day. Very nice to connect here, and I will look forward to connecting with you again soon. Have a great day, everybody.